everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is one of a new event for Mandala. It's a new effort. We obviously thanks to Mandala for hosting us. So this is an effort. First of all, there is a couple of initiatives that kind of joined and met each other. First of all, Mandala wanting to expand the cultural agenda, and we want to build a solid foundation for the club on top of the drinks and the restaurant. They want to offer something new, and that's a great initiative. They had a culture call to which we answered. Another initiative is with just a bunch of friends who like classical culture and classical theater, and decided to try something new. And the third one is obviously the director and the actors who will perform tonight and will introduce you to the world of Plato. Just have a few notes. So just setting the scene to say a few things about the Symposium for those who are not aware. So Symposium in Greek means to drink together. So symposia were held in ancient Greece. There were groups of men. In our case, very famous men. They would, after dinner, they would sit down or lie down for a drink and discuss. Sometimes there will be live music, and they will discuss current affairs and or philosophical issues. And this could can drive the whole night. So this is what a symposium is. Plato wrote a symposium around 385 BC. So he's writing about an event that supposedly happened 30 years earlier. So he's recounting that event. Nowadays we know that most likely, almost certainly, this didn't happen. He just created it himself. The event had the characters are real people who existed in Athens at the time. Politicians, people who are distinguished politicians, people in arts and in philosophy, Socrates, for example. And Plato is writing the Symposium in a way to praise his teacher, who is Socrates, and to explain also his own views to his audience. The characters now we've adapted the Symposium a little bit because obviously we want to keep it short. We don't want to keep it here all night. It'll be too long. We've shortened some of the dialogues, and we only kept 3 characters out of the 8 who appear in the Symposium. The first one is Aristophanes. Aristophanes is a very famous comedian. He's considered the father of comedy, and he's as you will see, he has a playful role in the Symposium. That role will be played by Lihong Chew. The second role is Agathon. Agathon was a real person, a famous playwright of tragedies, up there with Sophocles and the 3 famous tragics. And he will have a different role, a bit more serious. That role is played by Konrad Kuc. And the third character is Diotima. And you will notice, for those of you who have read the Symposium, instead of having Socrates talking, we have Diotima. So we're using the fact that our actor is a female actor. So instead of Socrates recounting his encounter with a famous woman from Arcadia, Diotima, we have Diotima recounting her encounter with Socrates. To switch the roles a bit. That role is played by Roshni Nagaria. Another change we've made is that there is a bit of a love tension in the Symposium between the Alcibiades and hello, how are you? Please look at and there is some love tension between Alcibiades and Socrates. We don't have these characters in the play, so we've transferred that to Aristophanes and Agathon. We like to the Symposium is about love, so we would like to keep that feature. Yeah, we finally just a word about our director. We were very lucky to have Nick Perry as director of the play. He's been a mentor even for me, not an actor, for the actors, and really blessed having Nick. Nick is very experienced, more than 35 years of experience here in Singapore in theatre, teaching theatre in the UK. And also, for those of you who've been to the SRT, you might have noticed he's the director of a lot of plays in the SRT. The next one's coming up in June. It's called Noises Off, which you shouldn't miss. So we've chose the Symposium because of its hidden and not so many hidden philosophical meanings, and also because it's an ode to love. I hope you enjoy it. One last thing, we've printed a few postcards in front of you. Feel free to take as many as you want. They have 5 different quotes from the play, so I do challenge you to find them during the play. And at the end we can happily discuss which one is your favorite. But these are for you. Symposium is about love, so keep them, send them to your loved ones, wherever they are. So as a little souvenir of the play tonight. So that's it from me. One last favor, please keep your masks on throughout the play, because that is a prerequisite for us coming together in numbers. So I will now lead you to the actors. Thank you very much again for coming with us. Thank you.
Wow, we have guests. Did you invite them?
What do you mean? You invited them, Aristophanes?
I invited them?
Indeed.
Well, I guess I invited them then. All the better to talk about love. Come, we must dance.
Ah, Aristophanes. You never take anything seriously. If you continue to play the fool beforehand, you will force me to look for jokes during your speech as well.
But Agathon, despite being joined to you in marriage, I can never get used to your gravity. Lighten up. It'll be good for you. My fear is not of being funny. That would be a bonus and very suitable for one of my professions. But of being, well, ridiculous.
I am used to your barbed remarks, and far too wise to react. Just be careful of what you say, that you can justify it later. You always speak before you think.
Agathon, please let the audience do the judging for once. The thing is, people have entirely failed to understand the power of love, even though he is the most benevolent of gods to humankind. I am going to try and explain his power to you all. You have first to understand the nature of our human anatomy and what it has undergone. Once upon a time, our anatomy was quite different from what it is today. In the first place, there were not merely 2 sexes as there are now, male and female, but 3. And the third was a combination of the 2, having physical features from both the male and the female. Now, this sex itself has disappeared, but its name, androgynous, survives. However, the meaning is quite different from what it is today. But that's another story altogether. Now, second, the form. The form of each person was completely round. Its back and sides making a perfect circle. Here. Each person had 4 arms. Go ahead. And 4 legs.
Wow.
2 faces, exactly alike, set on a round neck.
Ta-da!
Possible. There was 1 head for the 2 faces, which looked in opposite ways. two sets of genitals and everything else, as you might guess from what I've been saying. They walked about upright like we do today, backwards or forwards, as they pleased. And whenever they wanted to move fast, they simply pushed off from the ground and stretched their limbs straight out, basically cartwheeling their way in. And no, not here, Agathon.
Sorry.
Where was I? Right. And now the reason there were three sexes is because the male was the offspring of the sun, the female of the earth, and the androgynous of the moon, which shares the nature of both the sun and the earth. And because the offspring resembled their parents, their form was round and their movement was circular. Now, they were awesome.
In strength and might, and the ambition was great.
As I was saying before, Agathon so rudely interrupted me. These humans grew complacent with their strength and might, and they tried to make an ascent to heaven to attack the gods.
Foolish, foolish, foolish humans.
Indeed. And faced with such a blatant assault, Zeus and the other gods were perplexed. They could hardly kill the humans with thunderbolts if they bit the giants, because that would mean the end of the worship and the sacrifices they received. But neither could they put up with such insolence. So, after much hard thought, Zeus came up with a marvelous plan.
What we want is for these humans to continue existing, but in a weakened state, so that they will end this outrageous behavior.
Why, thank you for your enthusiasm, Agathon. So Zeus proceeded to slice everyone in half, which not only weakened them, but doubled the number of humans. Ouch. He had Apollo take each separated half and turn around the face and half neck to the cut side, so that each person was now forced to contemplate its own cut surface, as a reminder to behave more moderately. Apollo healed their wounds by gathering their skin on the belly, like a dumpling, and leaving an opening, which Zeus then fastened with a knot. And that's how the navel was created. And then, with a shoemaker's tool for working leather, he smoothed out the wrinkles and fashioned the chest.
You didn't do a terribly good job. There's still a few wrinkles that remain.
Well, yes, that was left on purpose as a reminder of what happened. Although he might have left a few more in some of us than others.
Thank you.
Now, here's the interesting part. After being severed in half, the two halves longed for each other and tried to come together again. I mean, what did Zeus expect, right? They threw their arms around each other in close embrace, desiring to be reunited. And guess what? They began dying of hunger and general inactivity because they refused to do anything at all as separate beings.
Dying for love? How melodramatic.
That's rich coming from you, Agathon. And it didn't help whenever one of the two died. The survivor would simply look for another mate to embrace, and then the whole cycle would repeat itself. It was so unsustainable. So as you can imagine, humans started dying out. So Zeus took pity on them.
So what did he come up with this time?
Well, up till then, humans had their genitals on what was originally the outside of their bodies, and birth and conception took place not in the body after physical union, but as with cicadas in the ground.
Cicadas?
Yes, cicadas, you know, the insects?
No, I know the insects, but it's hard to imagine that.
Yes, I know imagination can be a challenge for you, Agathon, but please let me continue or I shall never finish.
Please.
Right, where was I? Oh, right, genitals. Zeus moved their genitals to the front of their bodies, and from now on, whenever a male got together with a female, the female got pregnant, and the male and the gods assure the supply of humans.
And what if two persons of the same sex came together?
Well, I guess they achieved satisfaction from the union, and after this respite, returned to the tasks and got on with the business of life. Problem
Only.
solved.
Easy.
And ever since then, love of one person for another has been inborn in us human beings. Its role is to restore us to our ancient state by making unity out of duality and to heal our human condition. For each of us is a mere tally of one person, one half of an original whole. Now, whenever anyone meets their own actual other half, the pair is consumed to an extraordinary degree by sensations of affection, intimacy, and love. And they virtually refuse to be parted from each other even for a moment. And these are the couples that spend their lives together, yet they couldn't say what it is they want from each other. Clearly, the soul of each wants something from the other that it cannot put into words, but feels instinctively. They yearn for each other so much that they would willingly be fused together to live as one, die as one, and even be one in the underworld. Now, our therapist says that's way too much codependency, but I think that is quite simply love. Love is this desire and pursuit of the whole. In the past, we were one, and at present, we've been made by Zeus to live apart.
Thanks, Zeus, for that. But I shall not tolerate being stuck to you all the time.
Why, the sentiment's mutual, Agathon. And if we are not well behaved towards the gods, then we may be split once more, sliced right down through the middle. And that is why I believe no one should oppose the gods, especially not love. And why should we? For if we make our peace with the gods, then we shall find and join our own particular beloved, which I may remind you, happens rarely at the present time. Love brings us to what is closest to ourselves. He gives us high hopes that if we revere the gods, then He shall heal us and make us blessed and happy. Now, that's what I think about love, Agathon. You may think I play the fool, but I'm quite sincere about my belief in love, which you would know if you really listened to me.
My dear Aristophanes, I do listen to you all the time. It's just that half of the things you say about love are as grounded in reality as Pegasus, the stock market, or some world leaders. Let me share my thoughts on love, and then perhaps wise Diotima can mediate a path between our thoughts, or shine a light on a hidden path we haven't even considered.
You really do give my views too much credit, Agathon, particularly in front of these honourable guests. Temper your praise. They may expect an easy answer, and I have none.
Do not fear, beautiful Diotima. Your words are refined from the gods, and our guests have wine to help them interpret your messages. It'll all be easy.
It's easy for you to say, Aristophanes.
It's Aristophanes, Diotima.
Agathon, we are in the presence of the Greek ambassador. It's easy for you to say, Aristophanes, seeing as if you've already imparted your wisdom and crossed the pure terror of presenting to this educated, enlightened, and overly sober bunch.
Diotima, your praise will go straight to my head, but I have two things to worry about. Doubly, this amazing, wonderful audience, and two, my lovely wife, who shall correct me with every meandering I take.
Agathon, I saw your assuredness and your confidence when you went out onto the platform and looked straight ahead into the huge audience without being in the least perturbed, and that too before your own plays were to be performed. You should think me extremely forgetful if I think you should lose your head at the thought of a few like us now.
What do you mean, Diotima? Do you think me so obsessed with theatre as do you not realize that a small, thoughtful audience is far more terrifying than a large, thoughtless one, like the one at the bar?
If you answer my husband, Diotima, we shall be here till dawn. I enjoy hearing him talk myself, or except when he interrupts me. But I also have to think about the praise to love we're all here to do.
Very well, my dear. Let me get on with it. There'll be plenty of time to discuss matters with Diotima later. Let me see if I can wrangle any intelligible thoughts on love. Let me pretend that this is a chalice of wine, that I'm wearing a toga and stepping into the sandals of some wizened philosopher with millennia of experience behind him. Let me tell you how defined love is. How he is a God I know and have met, and his name is Eros. Eros. He is happy, beautiful, and young. He is so fast that he outpaces even the greatest thief of all, old age. He is even more tender than that of Atti's feet. Atti, the god of folly, whose feet abhor the ground, and she makes her way through the universe by stepping on the heads of men. Love's feet do not touch the ground, nor do they touch the heads of men, because after all, the heads of men, not that soft. Love moves through the softest of things and places, setting his dwelling in the characters and souls of men and women, enfolding himself within their hearts, alleviating any pain and loneliness that reside there. Love spends his time lying amongst the flowers. His beauty overcomes even Ares, the god of war. He brings peace among humankind, and he overcomes pleasures and desires that tempt our path and allows us to act with care and grace instead. He is so wise that he creates poets out of women and men and inspires them to create things outside of themselves. Love looks after good and cares nothing for bad. In toil, in fear, in longing, in discourse, he is steersman, comrade, defender, savior beyond compare. He confers order upon gods and men. He is the finest and best guide whom every man should follow and sing hymns of praise in his honor and join in his songs of enchantment for the minds of gods and men alike. Yet, that is no chalice of wine. I am not in a toga. My feet are covered, and I do not heed the wisdom of the ancients that came before me. No. I dance in that place where angels fear to tread. Atti has infected my head and plagues me to abandon love's calling. Between Atti and Eros, my wise marriage to Aristophanes is pummeled by my feelings for Diotima.
Not Diotima again.
This life is here but for a brief moment, and I long to feel alive, to escape the confines of the society, the shackles, the relationships, the norms. I long to feel the blood pulsating in my veins, pumped by my invigorated heart. I am a mere mortal man, subject to the whims of fickle gods. Am I to deny these feelings? To be something I am not? In that way lies a madness even darker than this one, and I dare not enter. No. I throw myself at the mercy of wise Aristophanes, who loves a fool and who has the infinite patience to hear me talk about my insanity and see where it lands. And perchance, wise Diotima will bring me to peace and Eros. Share your thoughts with us, Diotima. Share your praise on love with us.
recount to you my discourse on love, which I once gave to Socrates, I must take note of your passionate speech. First, taking us through the kind of being that love is, then telling us how love acts, then, quite a sight, seeing how you act yourself. I wonder, is love the desire for something we lack? If one already has something, it cannot then be desired too, right? Or is love the desire for both something that we have now and for the future too? Which brings me to your love, Agathon. Seemingly fickle, confused, and inconsistent. Love is a subject which I am an expert on, though I am wise on many other subjects too. It is I who taught the whole subject of love to Socrates. I think it easiest to proceed by question and answer. Socrates said much the same as you, Agathon, that love was a great god and that he was love of what is beautiful. I refuted. In my account, love is neither beautiful nor good. Socrates protested. Are you saying that love is ugly and bad? Oh, dear Socrates, haven't you considered that there is something in between beautiful and ugly, just as there is something in between wisdom and ignorance, or good and bad? That is correct belief. Believing that you are right without being able to give reason for it. A belief not truly held in wisdom or in knowledge or in ignorance, but in the space between. The same applies with love. If I say that love is neither beautiful nor good, does that mean that it's ugly or bad? Love is something between the two.
Okay, Diotima, but surely we all agree that love is a great god.
Wrong again. We all know that all gods are happy and beautiful, right? Well, would you go so far as to say that any god was not?
No, by Zeus we wouldn't.
Well, in the case of love, Socrates agreed that it is through his lack of beautiful and good things that he desires those very things that he lacks. So, how could love be a god if this god has no portion of what is beautiful or good? It cannot be.
So what might love be then? Mortal?
Love is something in between. A great spirit that moves between God and mortal. Spirits interpret and convey all that passes between gods and humans, filling the space between the two so that all are bound together into one entity. Deity and humanity are completely separate, but it is by means of spirit that communication between mortal and immortal can take place. These spirits are many and of many kinds, and one of them is love.
So where does this love come from? From whom was he born? There are priorities at the Symposium to drink, so this is
Well, that is quite a long story,
Oh,
but
okay.
I shall tell you what to say.
Oh no.
When Aphrodite was born, all the gods and goddesses held a feast. One of the gods present was Poros, resource, whose mother was Metis, cleverness. When the feast was over, Penia, poverty, came begging at the door, as happens on these occasions. Give her some money. Horace drank on nectar. In those days, wine and tequila did not exist. Had wandered into the garden of Zeus and fallen asleep. Shortly after, Penia, because she herself had no resource, thought of a scheme to have a child by Poros, and accordingly lay down beside him and became pregnant with a son of love. That's how it happened in those days. Because love was conceived during Aphrodite's birthday feast, and because love is by nature lover of the beautiful, he became beautiful Aphrodite's follower and attendant. However, since love is not only the son of Poros, but also of Pinia, he is always in this position. Always poor, always resourceful. Love is far from being the tender and beautiful creature that most people imagine him to be. In fact, he is hard and rough, without shoes for his feet or a roof over his head. He is always sleeping on the bare ground without bedding, lying in the open doorways, and because he is his mother's son, want is his constant companion. On the other hand, love also resembles his father, scheming to get what is beautiful and good, being brave, keen and ready for action, a cunning hunter, always contriving some trick or another, an eager searcher after knowledge, a lifelong lover of wisdom, clever with magic and potions, a sophist. Love's nature is neither that of a mortal nor of an immortal. In the course of a single day, he will live and flourish for a while when he has the resources. Then, after a time, he will start to fade away, only to come to life again in a revolving cycle between his two natures. Love's resources always slip through his fingers, so although he is never destitute, neither is he rich. In fact, he is midway between the two, just as he is between wisdom and ignorance. No god pursues wisdom or desires to be wise, because gods are already wise, and no one who is already wise pursues wisdom. But neither do the ignorant pursue wisdom, for the problem of ignorance is this: someone who is neither fine, nor good, nor wise, is already quite satisfied with himself. No one desires what they think they do not lack. It is those who are in between being wise and being ignorant that pursue wisdom, and love is one of them. Wisdom is a most beautiful thing, and love is love of the beautiful. So, there it is. Love's nature and parentage.
Okay, Diotima. But then, when you say love is love of beautiful things, what do you mean? Or more precisely, what does the lover of beautiful things actually desire?
To possess them.
Okay, sure. But then that just raises another question. What does love gain by possessing beautiful things?
Happiness! The happy are happy through the possession of good things, and there is no need to question any further why anyone wishes to be happy.
And do all people desire to possess good things?
Oh, like IKEA furniture?
Yes. It is a wish common to all. As Aristophanes earlier said, lovers are people who are looking for their own other half. Well, what I say is that love is neither directed towards a half nor a whole, unless that half or whole is actually something good. The truth is, the thing that people love is the good. Love, together with the good, is an aspect of immortality.
Immortality? How so?
In mortals, love often appears in birth, in body and soul. Everlastingness and immortality are aspects of residing in the mortal as far as anything can be. Nothing that is born is truly lacking in good. So, if the object of love is to possess the good always, already agreed, then it is immortality together with the good that must necessarily be desired. Hence, it must follow that the object of love is immortality, and immortality together with the good is love in a view, the pursuit of an immortal good.
Diotima, you have afflicted my head with too much knowledge and too many words. But you have restored some peace in this brain and my love for Aristophanes.
Probably for now.
Thank you. So, my order of appearance, so Aristophanes, Lihong Chew. Agathon, Konrad Kuc. Diotima, Roshni Nagaria. And a big applause for our director, Nick Perry, sitting on the back. We couldn't have done anything without him. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please, have a look at the postcards in front of you. As I said, there are 5 versions, 5 quotes from the play, and we're actually keen to hear if somebody has a favorite quote already, or if somebody. If one of these quotes has attracted your attention. And again, it's for you, so take as many as you want in the end.